Um, Welcome everyone to our first ever Facebook Live event, and today we are discussing UIF, and we have Andries Roos from UIF who's gonna be our expert. He will explain to us and answer some of your questions on UIF, and yeah, hope we'll get more happening. Okay. So Andries, welcome.
Hi, Lloyd.
Yes, and maybe before we can start, maybe you can tell us what is UIF?
Lloyd, UIF is an insurance fund, and yes, we hear a lot from clients and contributors that, the impression is that it's a savings fund. It's not a savings fund. It's an insurance fund established on insurance principles and guided by legislation.
Okay.
And it's there. The purpose is there to support or to give temporary relief
Okay.
when contributors becoming unemployed.
Okay. Okay. And you said temporary relief, and so how long is this temporary relief?
Lloyd, currently the legislation will pay up to a maximum period of 238 days. Provided you have credits for that. In order to qualify for 238 days, you needed to work at least 4 years consecutive in the 4 years prior to the date of application.
Okay. Okay. And then UIF as itself, who qualifies for UIF?
Lloyd, at the moment, that question is twofold, right? Who qualifies to claim for benefits is everybody who contributes, and then obviously the legislation is giving now for us guidance who does not contribute. And that would be people on a learnership agreement, people working less than 24 hours a month, government employees, people earning commission solely, and members of parliament, foreign nationals. But foreign nationals also have their own qualification,
Okay.
Because there is some foreign nationals who do contribute and others who don't contribute. But in a nutshell, people who contribute towards UIF, they would qualify to apply for the benefits. In order to qualify for benefits, each benefit type has its own criteria, has its own rules, where you have to apply within 6 months, and for benefits. And normal benefits, you have to be capable and available for work, etc. And maternity benefits, there's time frames involved. Illness benefits, there's time frames involved, etc. So yeah, each benefit type has its own criteria. But in general, who qualifies for benefits is everybody who contributes, and each claim will be assessed on its own merit.
Okay. Then you said types. What types of benefits do we have at UIF?
Currently, Lloyd, we have 5 different benefit types. The first benefit type is normal unemployment benefits, where people become unemployed due to restructuring, retrenchment, dismissal, contract expired, retirement, death of the employer, voluntary severance packages, all those kind of benefit types are termination reasons, where you will qualify then for normal unemployment benefits. Just one thing that I need to make clear is people are under the impression that if I go on retirement, it's a different benefit type. You still apply for normal unemployment benefits. And then we have illness benefits, where people is unemployed due to illness, and the reason for termination would be illness. Maternity is where a female pregnant contributor is applying for benefits due to being on maternity or being pregnant. And then we have adoption benefits, where a couple is applying for or is on leave due to being in the process of adopting a child. And obviously there the child must be younger than 2 years, and the adoption must be in line with the acts and stuff involved with adoption. And but there I need to mention that only one member of the party can apply for adoption benefits,
Okay.
not both parents.
Okay.
And then we have death benefits or dependence benefits, where a deceased contributor's dependents, spouse, life partner, children can then apply for benefits due to that deceased contributor.
Okay. Okay. So those are the benefits. And how early or how late can you apply for the benefits? So it depends on the type?
Yes, currently the legislation gives you 6 months
Okay.
to apply for any type of benefits, right? 6 months from the date of termination for normal benefits. So also for illness benefits, maternity benefits, you must apply within 6 months after the date of birth. And for adoption benefits, you must apply within 6 months after the baby was adopted. And death benefits, you must apply within 6 months after the date of death of that contributor. And Lloyd also needs to mention that we have there's new amendments that was published in the Gazette
Okay.
for UIF. Although those amendments has not been implemented,
Okay.
the time frames has changed there with the amendments. And the time frames for normal benefits is extended to 12 months
Okay.
from the date of unemployment. For maternity, it's also 12 months. You must apply before the baby is 1 year old.
Oh, okay.
And then for dependence benefits or death benefits, you must apply within 18 months after the date of death.
Okay.
You will hear that I didn't mention illness benefits and adoption benefits. The waiting period for those benefit types is still 6 months.
Okay. So it's still 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you're not sure when is this amendments coming into?
No, that is dependent on other entities as well. So we're waiting for the implementation of that amendment bill, or Amendment Act, and there's other amendments as well.
Okay.
That is coming. That is good news for the contributors.
Okay.
And that is that UIF will now, the first amendment obviously is in section 3 of the Act, where government employees
Okay.
and learnerships and foreign nationals, everybody will contribute. There will basically only be 2 exclusions
Okay.
from people to contribute towards UIF, and those 2 exclusions are people working less than 24 hours a month, and also politicians.
Okay.
Those guys would not contribute. Then another amendment that is coming is where due to restructuring and the company is laying off staff members, they're not unemployed, they're still in continued employment,
Yeah.
but working reduced hours.
Okay.
Then we have a formula similar to domestic employees, where you can be employed but deemed to be unemployed.
Okay.
And those guys can then qualify for benefits. And another amendment also that's coming, that's good news for the ladies, is that maternity benefits will be now paid at a flat rate of 66% and not between 38 and 60%. Maternity benefits will be paid on a flat rate of 66% of your normal income. And then another change would be that UIF will now, instead of paying a maximum period of 238 days, the ratio will be now 4:1, which means we will give you 1 credit day for every 4 days worked as a contributor in the 4 years prior to the application, which would then imply that the maximum period that UIF can pay you would be then for a period of 365 days, in other words 1 year, that we can pay you. Just something that needs to be mentioned on that 365 days, UIF will still then pay your other benefit types, excluding maternity. Right, your other benefit types will still be paid between a sliding scale of 38 to 60% for day 1 to 238 days. And then from 239 days to 365 days will be paid on a flat rate of 20%.
Okay.
Right. Another change that is coming for with the amendments is illness benefits.
Okay.
Illness benefits, currently you do not qualify if you're sick for less than 14 days. We have changed the 14 days to 7 days. You must be sick for more than 7 days in order to qualify for illness benefits. I've mentioned the waiting period for normal unemployment was extended to 12 months. The waiting period for maternity was also extended to 12 months after the date of birth. Another thing that changed for maternity benefits is where a contributor is having a miscarriage or stillborn in the 3rd trimester. Currently, the legislation is in line with the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, where your maternity leave then only 42 days or 6 weeks after the date of stillborn miscarriage. And the UIF will now, instead of paying you 42 days after the date of miscarriage, you're still entitled to 121 days maternity benefits. Now, just need to make it clear that if the contributor is unemployed for 4 months, UIF will pay you 4 months.
Okay.
It doesn't mean UIF will pay you 4 months, but you're going back to work after 2 months. Then you will only be paid for 2 months, right?
Okay.
And then another change that was made was to dependents benefits. Death benefits is extended to 18 months, as I've mentioned. The other thing that changed was a contributor can now nominate a beneficiary. However, preference will still be given to the spouse, life partner. If there's no spouse, life partner, then dependent children. And if there's no dependent children, then we will pay the nominated beneficiary.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, Lloyd. Another one that was changed was that the legislation now forbids anybody to ask for money who acts on behalf of the UIF or for labor for that matter, right? Nobody can ask for money to process an application. Okay, so agencies who's acting on behalf of the UIF, they can't ask you for money now. And in the last change that was made affects employers, right? Currently, the legislation says employer must declare only when there's a change to the previous month. Right, the change now is employers must declare all their employees every month, and not only when there's a change, but every month all your employees must be declared to the UIF.
Okay, and is this still on the before the 7th of every month?
Yes, that declaration must still reach us before the 7th day of the next month.
Okay, all right. Okay, and I think there's a question on we got from Jack. He's saying, how long can a person receive UIF if he's still jobless? Let's say you lose a job, then how long can UIF give you money?
Okay, Jack, it depends on your period of employment. And if a person worked for 4 years prior to his date of application, in the current legislation you would qualify for 238 days, that's about 8-9 months. That the UIF will pay you, and if the application is after the amendments has been implemented, then that period would be extended to 365 days, but it all depends on your period of employment prior to your application for UIF. If a person only worked for 1 year, then obviously you would not qualify for 238 days, you would qualify then for 60 days.
Okay. And there's another question we got from, what's the name? Portia Malchas. She's saying, how can you check your status with your department if you are registered?
You can check your status by either visiting your nearest Department of Labour office. They're all connected to our database, and they can check for you there, or you can phone the call center, and I think you will give them the call center number later on.
Okay.
And but I can also give them the number. It's 012-337-1680, where you can phone the call center, and they can also tell you if your employer registered you or not. Mm-hmm. And should you find that the employer did not register you, then you can visit your nearest Department of Labour office to visit an inspector, who can then issue a compliance order in order for that employer then to comply and register all his employees.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I see people are learning something. Okay. There's another one from Samira. She's saying, when will UIF maternity 66% be put into action, and for how many months can you claim? Samira. She's saying, when will UIF maternity 66% be put into action, and for how many months can you claim?
Okay, Samira, the maternity benefits, the 66% will be implemented as soon as the implementation date is published, right? The amendment is currently there. It's not been implemented yet, but the implementation will be published in the Government Gazette. And the months is still the same as for maternity benefits. We will still pay you a maximum period of 121 days.
Okay. And you talked about doing something online. There's something called U-filing. What is U-filing, and how does it make life easy or difficult? U-filing is an online system, and not only for employees or employers. It's online for, number one, employers, to make it life easier for them to submit their declarations, contributions online. And then a second leg of U-filing is for employees when they become unemployed, in order for them to submit their applications online. They don't have to go to a labour centre and queue to submit their applications. It's simple process, it's easy. You just log into www.ufiling.gov.za, and you can just follow the process and submit your application online. It's an easy process, and you don't even need to make use of anybody else to submit your applications for you. You just need the internet and internet connection, and you would be able to submit your application online. No more that you have to go and sit in the queues for a day and a half and to submit an application. Okay. Then another question I got from Hafiz. He's asking, or she's asking, why do asylum seekers get excluded from UIF?
Asylum seekers are not excluded from UIF, and the intention was never to exclude asylum seekers. The legislation, section 31D of the legislation, says an employee who comes into the country to perform a work, and upon termination of such a contract, when that employee needs to leave the country by any law or agreement, then those people are excluded. So in other words, if you come into the country and do a work, and you've got an agreement when the job is finished that you will have to go back to your country of origin, then you don't contribute. Asylum seekers does not fit that definition. So if an asylum seeker is working more than 24 hours a month, then you have to contribute, and then you would be liable, or you can then claim when you become unemployed. The only issue where it comes to foreign nationals and asylum seekers are that these people do not have ID document, right? They obtained a refugee permit or work permit or something like that. And our definition, in order to claim for UIF benefits, you need to be in possession of a ID document, a valid ID document. And the definition for that ID document is a valid 13-digit barcoded RSA ID, number one. Number two, a valid RSA passport. Number three, a valid foreign ID. Number four, a valid foreign passport. If you are in possession of any of those four documents, then, and you have contributed towards the UIF, it makes no difference if you're a foreign national or a South African citizen, you can then claim for UIF benefits.
Okay. Then you said if you have been contributing, that's Kazamula Freddy, who's saying the company is deducting UIF, and I think Freddy's not sure. It says, but I'm not registered under Department of Labor UIF. What must I do? That the employer is reflecting on the system, and he called the department, but found that he's not on the system.
Yeah. A previous caller also had that same question. How do I find out if I'm registered or not? And if, what do I do? It's the same thing. If you found that your employer did not declare you, then you can visit your nearest Department of Labor, go and see an inspector. They can then issue a compliance order to these employers in order for them to register you. I just, if time allows us, a lot of employers think that if I'm submitting my contributions to SARS and I pay my contributions over to SARS on the EMP 201 or whatever the case may be, that is where their obligations stop. And it's not the case. There's a difference between a contribution and a declaration. A declaration is this registrations that the employer must do to declare all your employees. So they pay those contributions to SARS, but we can't reconcile the contributions when we receive it, because the employee must still tell the UIF that Andries was working for me and this was his salary for that month. So that is why employees must declare every month.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's then ask. This is the question we get. How long does it take after you've registered for UIF for the process for the money to come into your account? Because people are asking, like, I've registered and now I'm waiting. How long does it take?
Okay, this ties in with the previous response as well. Where how long does it take? It can take a month. It can take 5 days. Our turnaround time now from the DG is that maternity benefits must be approved within 5 days, right? And then obviously payment will only be made after you've been unemployed for a month. Okay. But the problem that we sit with, and one doesn't always want to mention these problems, but we encounter them a lot. If you phone the UIF, chances are that you will find that your employer didn't declare you every month. And if those employment records are not up to date on my database, there is no way that I can approve or finalize an application within 5 days. I first need to get that employment records on my database. And the problem here is employers that still think a UI-19, and I see you sit with a UI-19 there, right, is that a UI-19 is a blue card. Okay? And we don't do blue cards anymore. A UI-19 is a declaration form from the employer on which he declares all his employees. A UI-19 is not a blue card, and it doesn't now means that if you leave your employment, the employer has done his work just by giving you a UI-19. Those declarations must come in every month, and not only when you leave employment.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, then Fortunate Tawejani is asking, So is it possible to give me the money all at once? So he wants to know if he can get like a lump sum of all the money at once, or do you spread it? How do you?
No, UIF cannot pay any benefits in advance, right? Because for normal unemployment benefits, currently we will pay you from the date of application going forward, and if it means I'm going to pay you the first month and you qualify for 238 days, I can't pay you in advance. What if you become employed again in 2 or 3 months' time? Then I've paid you for 8 months and then there will be overpayment. But if you've been waiting for a long period and before the claim is processed and finalized, then if I have to pay you retrospectively on your benefits, then yes, there could be a possibility then that benefits will be paid all in once.
And then how much percentage do you pay?
It depends on your remuneration. It depends on your salary. It's worked out on the gross remuneration, and we pay between 38 and 60% of your salary. It's based on the solidarity principle.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where the bigger the income, the lower the percentage. So people currently on the ceiling amount of 17,712, they will be paid 38% of that remuneration. And people on a lower income, let's say 200 Rand a month, they will be paid 60%.
Okay.
Just for an example.
Okay. Then Sanel is asking if the company gets terminated, terminated, liquidated, what happens to the UIF?
If you become unemployed, right, for whatever reason you become unemployed, and this is something I want to make clear, right, even if you resign, obviously we say you resign, you don't qualify for benefits, but even if you resign, you can still claim for those benefits, and then let the claims officer who assessed the claim informs you in writing of the outcome of that application. Remember when I started, I said the claim UIF is based on insurance principles and there's a legislation guiding us. So don't decide for yourself that no, I don't qualify, I'm not going to apply for benefits, because I see it every day. People listening to people on the street, no, you won't qualify. Then I don't go and qualify for benefits and I don't go and apply. Then 4 years down the line, I come and I decide, and then somebody else tells me, but no, you could have qualified for benefits, and then it would be too late to apply for that benefit. So when you become unemployed, liquidation, your claim will not be refused based on the reason for termination. The only claims that will be refused based on the reason for termination is where you resign. Anything else, let the decision be coming from a claims officer and not somebody else.
Okay. I think, our time is almost over, but I think we have a space for some few questions. Let's check on.
Okay. On the resignation, I mean, maybe follow up with the question like if you take package and exit a package.
That's a very good question, and I'm glad you're asking it. Retirement, you get early retirement, and you get voluntary severance packages, VSPs. Now, there people also think I won't qualify. Right? The reason for termination won't disqualify you. Right? It might be something else. A VSP, remember, voluntary severance packages, your employer has put a package on the table. So in other words, the employer initiated this termination. It's part of the restructuring process and part of your retrenchment process. So first you ask for volunteers, then if there's no volunteers, then it's a forced retrenchment. But so if you volunteer, it was initiated by the employer, so your claim won't be refused based on the reason for termination. Something that is critical for people that goes on retirement. Remember, the Act still says you must be capable and available for work. So if you go in retirement and you think, no, I'm not capable and available for work, and I'm not going to look for employment, chances are that 90% that you're not going to find employment at that age. But if you register as a work seeker and you are able to work, remember we have a lot of domestic employees who's on retirement. but they work to supplement their income. So it doesn't mean if I'm on retirement that I'm not capable and available for work and I don't look for employment. So you can still qualify for benefits even if you go on retirement and VSP.
All right, I think we came to the end of our time, and we thank you for spending your time with us. We have all the contacts are on the website labour.gov.za, including the call center number. If you want to contact the UIF and get more information, you can check the contacts on the website, and they'll be able to help you. Even at the Labour Center, they'll be able to help you with all your inquiries. Thank you, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Okay, bye.